And you're listening to the Wax Museum on WVOA 87.7 FM. It's our 8th annual Halloween Spooktacular. Ronnie Dark here along with the Night Owl.
Greetings.
And we also have John the Commander Walsh.
Thanks for tuning in.
Quick little back sell there. We finished off hour one with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Nightmare on My Street, going out by request to Melissa the Teacher, also on WVOA, Songs from the Attic.
Yes.
9 to 11 a.m. Sunday mornings. After that, we heard Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me, great MTV classic, and The Devotions, a Night Owl cut.
Yeah, that again was from the Halloween Nuggets, and that's The Devil's Got a Hold and or The Devil's Gotten Into My Baby, and that was from 1966.
Very nice, Mike. Now, now John and I have been.
This is Mike Price speaking.
There's Mike right there.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You heard a funny laugh in the background, John.
Yes.
Well, it's a pleasure to be there with you on 87.7 FM, you and Ronnie Dark and Mike Adams. It's a pleasure to be here, but I've got to tell you a secret. Well, it won't be a secret now because I brought a special guest along. I stopped over to Oakwood Cemetery, and I made arrangements to meet an old friend who flew in from Transylvania to be here on Halloween Eve and on Halloween tomorrow. And Mike, please, you're too long on the introduction. It's Baron Daemon. I know that you, the Baron. The Baron is with us tonight, and he and I had a special relationship, about 50 years ago at Channel 9. Do you remember that, Baron? How could I forget it? Yes, 50 years is like nothing in the life of a vampire, or should I say the death of a vampire? Well, I met some old friends over at Oakwood this evening before you got there, Mike, and it was certainly a pleasure. You know, it's a pleasure to be here with you gentlemen tonight, Mike, with you, and with Ronnie Dark. It's a wonderful name. Ronnie's a very nice name, but especially the name Dark. We vampires love dark, yes. And Mike Adams, it's nice to be with you, too.
Oh, nice.
You know, here on 87.7 FM, it reminds me of FM. You know, that could stand for Foolish Monsters.
Yeah. That would be us.
I know nothing about them. But while I'm here, you know what really comes back to me? By the way, just to remind you, you gentlemen are all so young. I don't know if you were around when I was on the air or your daddy told you about me. But it's a pleasure to be here. And 50 years ago, at wonderful Channel 9 at the time, I recorded a record in 1963. Now, I'll sing a little bit of it for you right now. Grab a hold of your baby and hold her tight, because Baron Daemon is flying tonight. Well, instead of listening to me sing it to you right now, I think we have the old recording with Simon the Twisters and the Vampires. Why don't we listen to the Transylvania Twist?
Grab a hold of your baby, hold her tight, 'cause Baron Daemon is flying tonight. If you see a winter jazz or hear a strange sound, scream your little heads off, the Baron's around.
Yeah, that's right, he's loose tonight. What a sight.
Yeah, that's right, I'm loose tonight.
What a sight.
You can currently pick that up on the History of Syracuse Music Volume 1 CD. You can get that at Pet Cap Music and Ron Ray production. And that's, it's a great song, classic. And Baron, you got to be really proud of that because that sold a million records.
It was a one-hit wonder, There were a few of those around years ago. And I might explain something about the lyrics that I think most people understand. But when I said in the song, I feed the quarters for musical shocks to the cool spook box. That meant if you're out dancing and you're doing the Transylvania twist, I put the quarters in the jukebox. Well, we called it the spook box. So what a pleasure it is to be here with you gentlemen tonight.
It's awesome to have you.
It'll be a pleasure to be here around tomorrow, spooking the area. And so be careful. Don't look under the bed or up in the sky. You might see a vampire flying around up there, and that would be me. Although it's not easy, I'm about 518 years old right now. So, I was just a young fellow when I was back in Syracuse, but the years fly by in Transylvania. Sometimes I do these things and people say, what are you trying to get, blood? And I say, yes, exactly that, blood. Oh, I wonder if I might take a couple of minutes here to recite some old poems that I did years ago from the Transylvania Tome.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Like, Jack Sprat could eat no fat, and his wife could eat no lean. So betwixt them both, they starved to death and turned a sickly green. Wonderful. The whole gang was evergreen. Oh, as in gangrene. Also, there was little Miss Muffet sat on her duffet, eating her curs and whey, when along came a spider, and the spider bited her, and the spider died. Oh, yes. Oh, there were some other songs that I recorded, and of course we don't have instrumental backup or accompaniment here this evening, but maybe I'll sing one to you, a couple of old songs. Let me think. Oh, there was one that was a big hit years ago called, let me see, When I Was a Little Bitty Baron. Cotton Fields was the name of it, and that's when Hootenanny was pretty big, and there were these groups, and they sang these sort of folk tunes, and one of them was called When I Was. I'll sing it for you right now. See if you recognize some of it. When I was a little bitty baron, my mommy would rock me in my coffin in those cold, damp mortuaries back home. When I was a little bitty baron, my mommy would rock me in my coffin in those cold, damp mortuaries back home. Now, when those corpses get so rotten, they taste better than sauerbraten in those cold, damp mortuaries back home. When I was a little bitty baron, my mommy would rock me in my coffin in those cold, damp mortuaries back home.
Yeah.
That was originally recorded, I think, called Cotton Fields, but we did a remake on it, and it was When I Was a Little Bitty Baron in those cold, damp mortuaries back home. Oh, yes. Well, from the Transylvania Tome, little Jack Horner sat in the corner eating his piranha fish pie when he stuck in his thumb and pulled out a stump, and they called him Lefty. Oh, such foolishness. Well, hey, Baron, are you about done? No, Mike, I'm not done yet. I was just getting started. Well, we've got places to go, Baron, so maybe it's time to say goodbye. Well, just give me a few more seconds or a couple of minutes here, Mike, if you will. Okay, but remember, I'm your escort here tonight. And by the way, when we came on with this, we didn't rehearse any of this. Oh, another wonderful word, rehearse, with the emphasis on hearse. I heard one person say to another up there in Oakwood tonight, apparently he had a cold, and he started to cough, and the person said, oh, that's an awful lot of coughing. And I said, another wonderful word, coffin. You never want to say that around old people, that you're coughing a lot.
No.
Well, Ronnie, how are things in the dark? Okay there?
Fantastic, Baron.
Okay. it'll be dark tonight, and, well, even if the moon comes out, if it's a full moon, you're liable to see me flying around the area. And, John, it's a pleasure to be with you, and Mike. All three of you boys.
You too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now,
Mike-
have you ever heard of the Baron before?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Of
absolutely.
course. And will you be doing poetry night at the Blood Bank in Transylvania?
Oh, yes. Well, I got to tell you a story about the blood bank. You know, when you go to the blood bank, most of the time if you go to a bank, you want to make a deposit. But when I go to the blood bank, I'm not so concerned about a deposit, but I always make a withdrawal.
Now, Mike eats a lot of red meat, and he's got a lot of, he's pretty padded. So
Wonderful dripping, I hope.
oh, he'd be a tasty meal for
yes.
you. We're going to give you his address.
Oh, you don't want me. I'm spoiled.
Well, you're spoiled. Ooh. I'm trying to think of another one of those old songs. Let's see if Oh, this one when I was out doing appearances in the neighborhood. Oh, wait a minute. Baron, you're not going to do that now, are you? Well, Mike, just relax. I'll do a little bit here. Hope I can get it right now. This was a big hit for a man who did calypso and folk music years ago, Harry Belafonte. But we did it did a remake of it in Transylvania. And it would start out with, Day-o, day-o, daylight come and I want to go home. Oh, hurry up, Boris, and carry me a zombie. Daylight come and I want to go home. I hear you can order them from Fitch and Abercrombie. Daylight come and I want to go home. Day-o, day-o, daylight come and I want to go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Mike,
Baron,
could you ask
Well,
the,
did yourself with that. I'm surprised you can remember all of those.
Mike?
Well, yeah, when you're as old as I am, it's not too hard to remember things that only go back 50 years. That's nothing when you're 300 or 518. So going back 50 is pretty simple, yes. And, some people think that I'm pretty simple, too, but I'm really pretty complicated. Oh, I just wanted to mention, too, about the record, the Transylvania Twist. Simon the Twisters was the backup band on that, and on the label it called the backup singers the Vampires, but they were a trio of three sisters, the Big Three Sisters.
Yes.
Yes, the Big Three Sisters were very big. They did a lot of local recordings and a lot of appearances on TV and were heard on the radio stations. So that was Simon the Twisters and the Big Three Sisters. Twisters and sisters.
Twisted Sister.
What do you remember from that recording?
Yes, well, it's been a pleasure. I think I'm getting exhausted now. I better get back in the coffin and get some rest, and then I'll get up after midnight and start haunting, because after midnight it's Halloween. Happy Halloween to all of you, and different from Santa Claus, but happy Halloween to all, and to all a terrible good night. I think he flew away.
Is he gone,
Yeah.
Mike? Look.
Yeah,
Oh.
look out over there. I think I see him flying away there.
He just went over our place.
Ronnie, John, Mike, are you there?
You're
We're here.
Yes.
There's a shadow outside.
Well, it was a pleasure to be with you this evening, and it was a pleasure to bring the Baron along, too, for a little reprisal.
It was. You
So
got.
thank you, gentlemen. It was fun being with you tonight.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, did you want me to do something else or call a Baron back? Baron, come on back in here if you would, please. I think they want you to do a station ID of some type.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Did I get that right, John?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is this let me instruct the Baron when he gets back in here. Is he just going to say Happy Halloween? Or, I'll do a couple. I'll ask him to do a couple, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Baron, come on over here. Get near the mic again, would you please? What is it now? I thought we were finished. No. They would like you here. Ronnie and John and Mike would like you to do a couple IDs. Can you do that? Well, I guess so. That won't be too much of a strain on me now. Or a drain. Oh, I hate to say that. All right, here we go. Let me try this. Do you know you're listening to 87.7
Great.
You know,
Great.
here I am at 87.7 on your radio dial. It's the Baron speaking, Baron Daemon, right from Transylvania. Happy Halloween. You know what? I think on that first one I didn't identify myself. So let me do a third one here. Happy Halloween. This is your old friend, Baron Daemon, returning to Syracuse from Transylvania to be with you here on 87.7. Happy Halloween.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you, Baron.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Baron. Thank you. We'll let you go now. Get back to Oakwood and get a little rest before you go out haunting tonight.
Mike, could you...
Thank you, Ron and John and Mike. It's been a pleasure. The Baron and I really enjoyed being with you this evening.
Oh, it was our pleasure. You're a broadcast legend here in Syracuse, and we really enjoyed your time here.
Well, thank you.
Could you really Mike? Could you real quick give our out of town listeners a quick synopsis of your career, when you started?
Sorry, could you repeat that, John?
Could you give our listeners that are outside of the Syracuse area, because we have a ton of people listening online all over the U.S. and all over the world, just a little synopsis of the Baron and how you got started.
Well, okay. Now, you broke the ice now. Mike Price and Baron Daemon are one and the same. And you could probably recognize that the voice was the same, really. And how that started was in 1962, when I first went to work at Channel 9. I heard our general manager and our director, our program director, talking about what the heck were they going to do with a package of these old, they had leased a package of the old horror films, like The Wolfman and Dracula and Frankenstein. And the boss was saying, Jeff, what are we going to do with these? And I overheard that, and I said, can I interrupt you gentlemen for a minute? And they said, yeah, what's that? And I said, well, I can do a fairly decent imitation, a poor man's imitation, of the way Bela Lugosi did Count Dracula years ago. And so they said, we'll do a little of it for her. So I did it for them then, and they said, geez, that might work. We'll get you a costume, a big cape, with the high collar on it, and a formal tux outfit, and we'll give it a try. So they did, and then we started it late at night, doing it live, and during the breaks, during the commercial breaks for these old movies with the Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman and the Mummy, I would come on and do some sort of silly, foolish skit. And I was never a vampire that scared anybody. It was a vampire that was kind of a clown in a vampire suit. So we had a good time doing it. But then we would get calls and letters from people saying, you know what, the kids love the Baron. They think he's really comical and they like him. But the movies scare the kids, and it's awfully late at night for them to stay up after the 11 o'clock news. So, gee, we wish he was on earlier. So the boss heard that, and it had been so successful the first few months, he said, I wonder if we could get away with an afternoon program, Monday through Friday around 4 o'clock. So we did that, and we had a set made up by Dennis Calkins, was a man, the artist that put together the set that looked like a dungeon. And he was also, revealing a secret now, he was the character that played Very Harry, which was my sidekick in the afternoon program that we called The Baron and His Buddies. And we would have maybe a dozen kids come in and sit on these old tree stumps in a peanut gallery. But what was unusual about that, I'd come out in costume. I was in the Baron voice and the Baron outfit, but we didn't show any of those old horror movies because the kids were afraid of those. So we ran Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon serials with Buster Crabbe, who was the guy that portrayed Flash Gordon in those. And they had nothing to do with Transylvania or the old horror movies or anything. But still, I come out and talk like this. Hello, boys and girls. So nice to be with you this afternoon. And it went over great. So we did it for about 5 years. Both the late night, Saturday night horror movies and the kids' Baron and His Buddies show every afternoon, Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock. And a lot of personal appearances where I was all over central New York and upstate New York for different openings and different shows and so on. So it was a good gig for 5 years. I enjoyed it. But after 5 years, there were no big crocodile tears when they decided to discontinue it, because I used to put that outfit on 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day, and it had started to wear a little thin. Not just the outfit, but my nerves. So it was fun. So that's primarily how it got started in the background and the whole thing, gentlemen.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
You know, it's
Okay, it's been a pleasure to be with you tonight.
like I said, Mike, we're very honored to have you tonight, and thank you so much for your time. And to a fellow Crunch fan, I can't thank you enough.
It was my pleasure and an honor to be with you, and thank you for the memories, for remembering that. That brings back a lot of memories for me, and thank you for remembering. Okay, so long, gentlemen. I'll see you again sometime soon, I hope.
Take care, Mike. Stay on
Take
the
care,
line,
Mike.
and we'll say our goodbye. Stay on the line real quick.
And also, we have a sequel to the Transylvania Twist coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, here's Ghost Guitars, the B-side.
When I want to swing, I fly to Mars to take the sound of the ghost guitar. They dig this sound underground. Play it cool, you crazy ghoul. This tune's the most from ghost to ghost.
Grab onto your baby and hold her tight, 'cause Count Blood Count is going to rock tonight. We're gonna dance the swing and do the boogaloo, and any old dance that you wanna do. Come on, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna rock tonight. When it's dark and dreary and entering night, the vampire ghouls will give you a fright. But soon you'll see a figure coming out of the mist. It's Count Blood Count doing the Transylvania Twist. We're gonna party tonight. It's sure to be a monstrous sight. I'm Count Blood Count and I'm here to stay. We're going to rock and roll both night and day. So join in the fun and feel the beat. I'm the coolest vampire you'll ever meet. That's right. I'm really cool. Well, I get the prettiest cool.
And you're listening to the Wax Museum 8th Annual Halloween Spooktacular. And that was, Count Blood Count, who in reality is my dad, Ron Sr. And that's Ron Sr. with JB, John Brown, and myself backing him up on that with the Count Blood Count twist. Kind of a twist on the Transylvania twist.
That was great.
An unofficial sequel from our 2014 skit that we did, which we'll broadcast again next Halloween. So it'll be 3 years later in 2017. And, of course, Baron Daemon and the Vampires, Ghost Guitars, and a Transylvania twist. Thank you again, Mike. Much appreciated. And thank you, John, for setting that one up for us
You're
again.
welcome. It's my honor.
And we're going to take a quick break, come back, and get some more awesome, scary, great Halloween music right here on the Wax Museum.